Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back. Thanks for watching the last video. Thanks for the Venmo tips, man. That was kind of unexpected, honestly, but really appreciated. So thank you so much. A few folks said they enjoyed the last lesson. They sent in a few bucks over Venmo. Please don't feel like you have to do that every time or ever. But if you feel so inclined, I will include my Venmo name and my PayPal email address in the description. So thanks again for your generosity. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it does help me, sort of find time to prioritize these little mini lessons. I'm sorry, by the way, for the crazy compression on the last one. My voice was going up and down. I just had the amp too loud. And so when after I would play, it would, I guess the little compressor limiter or whatever is in my iPhone, would make my voice lower. So I'm playing much quieter. Hopefully it will not have that same effect on this video. I'm pretty low tech, so it's just me and the phone and a little mini tripod. Over at Casino, I get spoiled because I have Derek, and he just kind of makes everything work. But yeah, I'm pretty low tech, and sometimes to a fault. Not savvy in some of those sort of things. But anyways, hopefully you'll tolerate it and you'll forgive me, and I'll get better as we go. Kind of wanted to expound on the last lesson, where I talked about going from shape to shape a little bit. And also, there was a question from one of my previous videos that I thought was a great question. I thought that maybe it was something that I assumed people would know in that particular video. And then after the question and the comment, I realized maybe that's not true. So, some cool things maybe to chat about today. And part of it is how to, we talked about last video was, the idea was breaking out of that little first position, first shape pentatonic box. And we did it by going what I call the third shape into the fourth shape, or what I call the fourth shape at least. And just, some different ways to move around the neck. The fact that there are the same notes over and over again that you can find in all sorts of positions from the same pentatonic scale on the neck. And the idea is that you can just sort of sit around and play like I was doing at the beginning of this video. Good, bad, or indifferent, even if you hated what I played at the beginning, I'm able to just sit and noodle and not be stuck, playing a chord up here and then trying to play a lick out of my first shape pentatonic box, right? That's the idea, is to be fluid. And to sort of know where the neck, wherever you play the chord, to know what notes are under your fingers that go with it and all that sort of thing. So here's sort of where the question came in on the video. The video that the guy asked the question on is one I done a while ago about triads. And when I think of triads, I think of them as clusters. And it's how I teach them to students in one-on-one and private lessons. I usually think about it first as the major chords in any particular key. Major chords in any particular key, typically, are going to be the 1, the 4, and the 5. I say typically because, if everything harmonizes perfect and you don't have like a secondary dominant, or you don't have anything weird, or you're not in a mode, then 1, 4, and 5 will be major. So for today, we'll just pretend like 1, 4, and 5. That's the major chords, and that's it. But not necessarily. I always tell my students that music's like English. You learn all these grammar rules, And as soon as you learn them, it turns out there are all these ways to sort of twist or bend or break, or these exceptions, or it turns out there's just more rules that you don't know yet. But anyways, doesn't matter. So anyways, all that to say, in my video about the triads, I'll link it in the description, by the way. And it kind of goes along with it. I have another video where I talk about the 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale, and where those shapes come from. Why are there 5 shapes? And we'll do a really quick overview of that. But if you want that more in depth, you got to go watch those 2 videos. But those 2 videos, they tie together to me, and sort of here's why. So when I'm talking about those 1, 4, 5 triads, the way I teach them to students first is in an F shape. So like this sort of shape, like how you play an F, everybody learns an F. And really, I'm only focusing on the D, G, and B strings. So kind of skipping the high E, even though you can add it in every one of the shapes. But so if we had, like an F shape would be 3, 2, 1 on those three strings. So if I move it up to G, 2 frets, I'd be playing 5, 4, 3 on the D string, G string, B string. There's my 1 chord if we're in the key of G. I'm just picking arbitrarily the key of G, by the way. So don't say, oh, how did he get G as the one? Well, I decided that G would be the one because everybody's familiar with the key of G, right? 1, 4, 5, the key of G, G, C, and D. G, C, D. Everybody starts with those chords. Well, I guess maybe some people start with C, F, and G, whatever. I think that's dumb. I always start with G, and honestly, even C at 9 and D. But there you go. Because it's easy to hold down in the beginning. So, if G is our 1, then there's a C right here. That's our 4. And then there's a 5 right here. By the way, I started this and lost my train of thought. That's the F shape, right? The C right here is an A shape. And then the D is a D shape, except we're using those 3, but I'm actually not using that note there. I'm playing it up on the D string. So, for the C, for the 4 chord, I was going just 5, 5, 5 from the D string. And then for the 5 chord, I'm going 4, 3, 2. Now that's also the same as like an open C shape, just slid up, and then you have to bar it. But we don't have to bar it. We're just playing 3 of the notes. Even though I do, because it's still easier to hold down, and then you can add that high E string if you want to. So there's my 3 shapes: G, C, D. Now I can take that shape, that D shape, move it up to the 9th fret, 9, 8, 7, again on the D, G, and B strings. And it's a G again. G, G. Now, if I do that, I get those same 3 shapes for the 1, 4, 5. They just change. This time, the F shape is my 4 chord on the 10th fret, 10, 9, 8. And the A shape is my 5 chord, right? So 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. Then I can take that shape again, move it up to 12. It's my G again. It's my 1 chord. 12, 12, 12. My 4 chord now is the D shape. It'd be 14, 12, 13. And then I can slide back to 12 for the F shape for my 5 chord. 12, 11, 10. So I got 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. Now, not spending a lot of time on that because, like I said, I have a video talking through those 3 triad, what I call clusters. I'm sure there's a million names for them on the internet. That is not official at all. That's just how I think of little clusters of the major chords in the key of G. And once you learn that, it's always the same. So if I slide up to A, same thing. 1, 4, 5. There's my 1, 4, 5. It's going to work exactly the same way. 1, 4, 5. So if you learn, these shapes, these clusters as I'm calling them, yeah, I'm in every key. Anyways, in this said video that I'm referencing, I said that once you play your triads, you need to be able to think, like overlay those pentatonic shapes in your brain over them. So like if I'm playing this one in G, I need to be able to think, there's my G major pentatonic right there. Now that is not the G major pentatonic that everybody learns, but it's the same notes. down on the 7th fret. It's not even this one. You know what I mean? It's this. But the question was, you know, how do you know what shape to use? And I guess I didn't really make that clear in that video. So essentially, I'm just going to tie these two videos together. And if you know a little bit about it, you don't need to go and watch them. It'll all make sense. But let's talk about pentatonic scales. So most people learn minor pentatonic scales first, I think, especially like rock blues guys. They learn E minor pentatonic. Down here, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. From the low E string to the high E string. That's easy to find. Google that if you don't know what it is. We can also do it up here from the open note, right? O3, O2, 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 O3, O3. That's the E minor pentatonic scale. Every single minor pentatonic scale has a relative major. And usually you hear relative minor. Like you learn, you know, if there's a major, you have a relative minor. Well, G and E minor are that for each other. I always think in majors. I always think of like G as the 1. So even if I'm in the key of E minor, I'm thinking of it as the 6. And if you don't know about that, if you don't know about like Nashville number stuff or like, you know, the degrees in the scale, I'm just talking about them in order. If G is my key that I've picked, G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, F sharp would be 7. Whatever that 6th one is from the major, always the relative minor. So in my brain, G major pentatonic and E minor pentatonic are exactly the same. Now, you could argue semantics on that, I suppose. The real difference being, honestly, where you resolve to. So like if I come down here and I play this thing, you could call it either one, but the reality is if I play a lick and I end on an E, I resolve to E, well, it's an E minor. That's an E. There's E minor pentatonic. But if I play a very similar lick and I end on a G, now it sounds happy. There's a G. It's in G major. G major. That's pretty much the difference. So if you didn't know that, you could take your E minor and play it over things that were just G major, there you go. There's a free thought that wasn't really even my intention of making this. But anyways, those two pentatonic scales are the same. If you think about it from the actual notes in it, right? E minor pentatonic is E, G, A, B, D. G major pentatonic is G, A, B, D, E. They're the same notes. It's just where you start from, right? And I tell my kids all the time, and I said this in videos before, you know, when you mix up words in the alphabet, you don't always start on A, you know. It's not about that. So when you learn a scale, it doesn't really matter where you start. It's all about where you resolve, and you're going to be mixing it up anyways. So in my brain, anywhere I see the letters, well, the notes, E, G, A, B, D, or G, A, B, D, E, is G major / E minor pentatonic, right? And those 5 notes that I just played, which 6, there's that octave thing again. So E, G, A, B, D, and there's E again. I can play them just across my top string. You can hear that's exactly the same. Think about it for a second. So everywhere that note landed, I can keep that shape going. So I can play it down from the E, but I can play the E and then come to G and then play it down from there. Or blah, if I play it right. I could do E, G, A. I can play it down from there. E, G, A, here's B. E, G, A, B, D. And then I'm back to the first shape on my E again. That's just E, G, A, B, D over and over and over and over. So everything I played in all those shapes E, G, A, B, D, especially if we stick in pentatonic. Now, you can add different notes to it. You can change them to diatonic shapes if you want. I have a video about that too. Go find that. That's so important. I played a little lick before down here, and I threw that C in, which is the 4. It's not in there, but it's a great note to add to your pentatonic playing sometimes. Anyways, I'm digress. I'm very, very digressy tonight, I suppose. But anyways, so there are your 5 pentatonic shapes. So to answer the question in the other video, how do you know what shape to play? You're not switching keys per se, because I'm not really talking about like, you know, following the, I'm thinking about it from, we're going to stay in this one pentatonic scale for this whole key. Now, you can follow the chords, you can play target notes, you can switch pentatonic scales, you know, that's sort of the next level, I suppose. But for us, for what we're talking about right now, and what I think the guy who asked the question in the comment of that video, what he was saying was, you know, if he is playing G right here, and here's C, and here's D, and now he's going to play a lick. Well, what he needs, the way to know it, right, is to know all 5 of those shapes, so that I call this shape 4, because shape 1 starts on that minor root, E. Shape 2 is starting from G. I don't know why I can't play shape 2 tonight, but apparently I can't. So, there you go. Shape 3, starting on that A. Shape 4, starting on the B. Now, I don't care about the fact that it starts on a B up there, because I don't care about that. I just need to know where my G's are. You know, like there's a G, there's a G, and it's nice to know where my E's are, you know. So all I'm thinking about is that when I play a G right there, a G triad that is 9, 7, 8, right? And I could add in the G up there if I wanted to. It's not a triad anymore, really. But if I play that, I want to be able to see that shape, what I call shape 4, is right there underneath my fingers. So that if I'm playing G right here, I don't have to jump down here to the 12th fret and play a lick. I can literally go G, now if I know all those shapes, I can move from there really easily. And sometimes for me, it's easier to play like the shape that's 1 higher, like, you know, a position higher or a position lower, because I can slide into it. Right? So like there was my G. I went back to what I call the 3rd shape. There's my G again, right? So, or, you know, I can slide over to what I call the 5th shape. You know? And then if you know the triad right there too, what's awesome is that you pretty much have the arpeggio right there laid out in the pentatonic shape as well, which is kind of awesome. So, if you know this pentatonic shape, or the octave, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. Just like we said last lesson, that, you know, starting from the A string, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, is the exact same notes as starting from the low E, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. Well, you know, if I go over here, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, that was an E. Right here, that's an E. Shape 4. Same notes. Listen to it. Same notes. Same as this. You know what I mean? So, now figuring out licks is a little bit different. And I think that maybe in that triad video, I actually gave some licks for every spot. But the idea is, the way you know what shape you're supposed to play is you know all 5. You don't just know, you know, this as E minor, or this is E minor / G major, or this is G major. Actually did it right the first time. Good job, Jonathan. But what you do, you know, is you know all 4 shapes, and you know them, I'm going to dare say equally, that you're comfortable in all of them. So that wherever you fall, you're fluid, you know, and then you can branch out from there, and it makes it great. So that if I play G right there, I also know the notes, any notes in the pentatonic scale around there, I can add or hammer on for embellishments, right? If I want to play a lick. Then if I go to play a C here, I know same thing when I call shape 3. I'm back to shape 4. There's a D right here. Maybe I play the E minor right there. You know what I mean? Maybe I play an A minor right here. Maybe I play a G right here. You know, so if you're in this little shape, the first cluster from that other video, 1, 4, 5, your closest shape is 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5. But you're also right next to 03, 02, 02, 02, 03, 03. And you're also right next to 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7, 5, 8, 5, 7, right? But if you play the second cluster where the G is like the D shape, and it's, you know, 9, 7, 8, there's your 1, 4, 5. Well, the closest shape is 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10, right? But you're right next to that 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7 shape. And you're right next to what I call shape 5, which is 10, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. And then if you play the one where G is on the 12th fret, 12, 12, 12, C, 4, D, 5. Well, then you're good right there with good old trusty 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. Nothing in the world wrong with that. It's fantastic to play funky stuff. There's your 4. Another way to play 5. Anyways, so all just really fun things, right? But if you get that in your brain, if everywhere you play any chord in the key of G, if you get to learn some triads or some different shapes, if everywhere you go to grab a chord, there's an A minor or an A minor, like at 9, or well, that'd be A minor 9, you know, whatever chord it is in the key of G, if I can picture, okay, I'm in the key of G, so I still want G major / E minor pentatonics. There's my pentatonic scale. If I happen to know how to change them to diatonic, like E natural minor, G major, well, there's my E minor 9, and I just play, I'm not playing A minor pentatonic, I can literally play from there my, well, technically you could say it's A Dorian, but because I'm not necessarily playing in a mode, let's just think of it as part of the E natural minor scale. Hopefully that makes sense and isn't too confusing. It will be confusing if you don't know some of these things, you know, have a base knowledge of some of these things I'm talking about. If that's true, you need to go back to those other couple videos I'm talking about and learn from there. Or maybe some base mode kind of knowledge. You probably need to tackle some of these videos about that. You know, and the difference in a pentatonic and a diatonic shape. I'll put those 3 videos links in the description if you want to go back. This one will make, if you're lost and you watch those 3, this one will definitely, it'll make more sense afterwards. That's a really long video to answer a question, but I thought it was a good question. But so that's how you know what shape to play. You know, you're not picking a random new pentatonic scale. You're staying in the key you're in, G or E minor, you know, in this case. Like I said, I think of it as G, but I think of those two things as being intertwined, G major and E minor. And you're picking the shape based on where you're literally just thinking about it where the chord falls. So if you're playing G here, you want to be able to see that pentatonic shape around it. But if you're playing G here, it's the same notes. You just want to be able to picture it right there. It's the same G, A, B, D, E over and over. If you're playing G here, you want to be able to picture That thing. If I'm playing an open G, I should be able to picture. In fact, that's really useful if you're playing like, well, I couldn't decide which C I wanted to play. If you're playing a fancier YouTube channel would edit those things out. I can't be bothered for that. But if you were just playing G, C, and D like open chords, you know, if you can just picture that there, or the full major scale right there. Obviously, it's more than one octave, but you get what I'm saying? Wherever you play a chord, wherever you put your finger down, you should be able to visualize not just that chord's pentatonic shape, major shape, but the shape for whatever key you're playing in. So just because I'm playing in A minor, if I'm in the key of G, I still want to be able to visualize that, right? Because an A minor is in the key of G. Now, if you're trying to switch scales, switch pentatonic scales for every chord, that's different. Then you do want to be able to play G with G major pentatonics and then go to your A minor and go, you know, and then for your C, and then your D. That's fine too. Some ways that's almost easier. But it's not. Doesn't matter. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to go too much off the rails with that. So hopefully that was helpful. I feel like I might have rambled a little bit. If that's true, I apologize. If I watch this back and it's too rambly, I just won't put it out. But if you're seeing this and you're hearing this, I decided it was not too rambly. But I really do appreciate your questions in the comments. I try to answer them there if I can. Like I tried to answer this one, but I knew it would be better in video form. And some of the great ideas for lessons come from your guys' comments, or you know, lessons is a loose term. These are more just like chats about ideas, right? But yeah, you know, I really appreciate that. So keep throwing those topics out there, keep throwing questions out there, and that is a great way for me to know what you want to talk about. Yeah, and if I understand it and I know it, then I'll give it a go. But so there you go. Learn your triads, learn all 5 shapes of those pentatonics, learn how to change the pentatonic stuff into diatonic stuff. That's really all you need to do. If you know that, you know modes, whether you know it or not, honestly. Yeah, more on that later. We'll talk through how I think about modes maybe in some of the coming days. If anybody even cares. I only ever use, well, I probably shouldn't say this, but I only ever find myself using like Mixolydian and Dorian on top of the major scale, Ionian, and the natural minor, which is Aeolian. But yeah, whatever. We can talk through it. I'll talk through those and how I think about it and how I visualize it, because I think a lot of people learn what modes are, but then they just don't have a great idea of how to actually play them, how to visualize it. So think I got some of those in the pipeline. I probably have some things in the pipeline. I know a lot of my students tend to struggle with, you know, they learn the pentatonic shape and then people tell them, oh, I'll go put on a backing track and jam. And they're like, how do I turn that pentatonic shape into music? Might have some things coming up for that. If that sounds interesting to you, let me know. I know that probably leans a little more towards, you know, beginning, starting to improvise, starting to play lead, but I just think it's helpful. And it's helpful to think about how other people view that sometimes, even if you're already a pretty good improviser and, you know, can play a solo over a chord progression or whatever. So anyways, there you go. Hit like and subscribe. Again, I will throw my Venmo and my PayPal names, whatever you call them, the email address for those in the description, but do not feel obligated. I'll put the affiliate links I have, especially the one for Tonetuga FX. Check those guys out, pedal wise. No pedals tonight. I was just plugging straight into my, I don't know if I can make it where you can see it. The good old Magnatone Twilighter is behind me. So all you're hearing is my Strat straight into that through an iPhone. So anyways, hit like and subscribe if you have not already. Click the bell so you don't miss stuff in the future. If you like these lessons, you dig them, you think they're good, share them. That helps get the word out there. That helps me more than anything when you hit the like button and you subscribe. and then just the watch hours. So greatly appreciated. Thanks again. I will see you guys soon next time.